The snow. The snow. Okay. I'll introduce myself. My name is Thais Sherelle, and just to tell you a little bit about who I am, I was born in the Bronx, New York, and that's me. And I was born into a family of 9, and I made the 10th person. So I'm the baby out of 8 children, which you don't hear of too much anymore. So that's me and all my siblings. And on the top of the 3 that are no longer with us, my dad and 2 of my siblings that were in a car accident in '86. So to tell you a little bit about where I came from, my mom was born in the South, and she couldn't wait to leave. Her mom had a farm, and she would go out in the garden, and she would pick and turn over collard greens and turnip greens and all those yummy things that you eat. And she said, I can't wait until I get old enough because I want to get out of the South. I want to get out of the South and get to the North. There's nothing here. Why? Because in the South, when she was growing up in the in the late 30s and early 40s, everything was segregated, you know? And so she stayed in her area and other people stayed in their areas, and that wasn't what she wanted. My mother was the type of woman who was full of love, and she wanted to experience that. So she says, you know what? I need to get out of the South. And not only did she want to get out of the South, but so did her brother Buster. And it's his story that I was inspired to write about in my latest book, which is called Good News Buster, On the Southern Path to Purpose. And so I just want to read a little bit about Buster's experience. Here we are, Good News Buster, On the Southern Path to Purpose. Pecan colored and peacock proud, I realized that growing up in the 1940s and 1950s had its perks. And it wasn't just because heavyweight boxing champion Joe Louis was whipping butts of all colors in the ring, giving people of color something to be proud of. While this brown bomber, as he was known, rose up from the ashes like nobody's business. And like Papa Johnson's dad, Joe's dad was a sharecropper, gleaning food and splitting the soil. It didn't matter none because Joe's past couldn't hold him down. He went from amateur to the world heavyweight boxing champion, and he stayed there proud for over 10 years. Joe did us proud and made my childhood memorable. But he wasn't alone on that platform. You see, there was something else that made my childhood memorable. School. I attended Stonehill Elementary School in Sumter. Every day we had prayer, Bible study, and sang songs about the goodness of the Lord. You see, these activities were a part of the day called devotion. And I love devotion because I got to do 2 of my favorite things: study the Bible and sing the good news. What do you know about the good news? Sing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home. Sweet low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home. Well, I looked over Jordan, and what did I see? Coming for to carry me home. Of angels coming for me, coming for to carry me home. You see, something about having the good news at school made learning wonderful. And like one of Mama's buttery biscuit on a plate of chicken liver, grits and homemade gravy, I sopped everything up I was taught. I learned so fast that my teacher skipped me from first grade straight to third grade. Now, even though having your child in a class with older students has always been a concern for some parents, but it wasn't for Mama. You see, she was okay with it. No one was going to take advantage of me. I could speak up for myself. Besides, being with older children sometimes had its advantages. Well, sometimes. You see, sometimes I was good and sometimes I misbehaved. For example, prior to being skipped, one day Mama told me to stay in the house while she went out for work, but I didn't listen. You see, after she left, I snuck out to play with two of my buddies, and we decided to go by Monk's house and make mischief. Well, you see, Monk was this gal that lived up the road. And so sneakily, we walked through the trodden path, and as we got closer, we heard the faint giggles of Monk and her friends. So when we moved up closer, we noticed that Monk was playing with her dollhouse, you see? And so I looked at my buddies and I said, let's make some fun. Yeah? What should we do? Kick that house down! And then I snuck up close and I kicked the first thing that was in sight. Buster Johnson! Monk yelled furiously as her hands, they closed up tight. My buddies and I didn't hang around to watch, and the other girls responded. We took off running. You see, I don't recall which one of the girls did it, but one of the girls, she picked up a brick. Bam! Help! This time, it wasn't one of the girls' voices I heard. It was my own, coming from deep within me. You see, one moment, I was running under the blue sky, and the next moment, I was on the dirt road, and everything was dark. Darkness became an unwanted companion that clung to me like glue. And when I awakened, I learned that the brick, it hit my spine. A trauma that caused me to go completely blind within 3 months. Blind? I was just 7 years old. And to add to the misery, the doctor told Mommy that I might never get my sight back. We just had to hope, to wait, and to pray. Now, normally, I might have gotten a switch for this stuff of disobedience, but Mama didn't beat or punish me. You see, I guess going blind was punishment enough in itself. Not to mention the agony of the outside light. It hurt my eyes so bad. There were days that I refused to come from under the bed because the light burned. It burned. Turn off that light. It burns. So there I was, home and in the house after all. Neither Dad nor Mama had enough money to send me to the school for the blind. So for a year or two, I stayed indoors, imagining what my friends were doing outside. That was pretty bad for an active young boy, but at least I could still hear the good news being sung at home and at church. Amazing grace, how sweet, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Yeah, I can still hear the good news being sung. So you see, in this book, Good News Buster, I didn't have to search far for inspiration. I just looked right in my family. And each and every one of you have stories within your lives and in your families that need to be told. I bet many of you sitting right there tonight have stories that if you got up and told them, we're like, girlfriend, what? What happened? Yeah. So I didn't have to look far, but I just went to my family, and this is the true story of my Uncle Buster, who was in the South and he wanted to get out. And you'll be able to get that book because soon they'll have it upstairs in circulation and you can read it. But he is looking for a way out, and he does find a way out. And it was a way that was paved with fame and fortune. But the question was, Buster was filled with a life of destiny that was built on a spiritual foundation. So the question became, was he going to run after the fame and fortune? Or was he going to stick to the calling? You guys got to read the book to find out. I'm not going to tell you all that. I see that. I'm not going to tell you all of that good stuff. So that was Buster, and that was my inspiration. And not only was he my inspiration, but it was my mom. She told me all the time about love. Love is something that this world needs more of. It really does need more love. We can't get enough of love. And my mom taught me to love everybody. So in that first picture, you saw me and my daughters. I was doing an off-Broadway production. As you can see, I love theatrics and all of that. I was performing. I was touring. I got married. I had children. And then, after I had my little rainbow tribe, I went out and I looked to the hills. I started going out the country like my mom did, and I was doing missionary work. I was in El Salvador. I was in Dominican Republics. I've been in Israel. I've been in Germany. I've been, you name it, there I was. And I began to love on with people out there, encourage them, give them words of encouragement, and let them know that there is hope. And that was so fulfilling to me that when I came back to the United States, and I would take my daughters with me, I thought that I was going to open up a home for girls in Dominican Republic, but I felt that my purpose was here in New Jersey, and that there were people here that can use the encouragement that I had. And so I opened up the doors of my home, and I began to bring in girls from out the country. So here are some of my international daughters from Spain, from France, from China. I have daughters in Russia. I have daughters in Italy. And I have a daughter in Africa. So I really did get that rainbow tribe. And my mother really did teach me to love. These are my two biological daughters right here. And then here, living in the Woodbridge area, I opened up my home and I took in two girls, two sisters to raise. And they are now part of my family. So there's Brittany and there's April, and all four of them have graduated from high school. Three of them in college, two about to graduate. One's in Italy studying abroad. And the younger one right there, she's home with me, taking a break from school. And this is one of my other international daughters, Dorotha, who's in Africa. And so all of these children that you've seen, they've come and spent time with me. I'm going to spend time with them, with the exception of Dorotha, which I hope to go and visit soon. So Mom did a pretty good job of teaching me to love everybody. It doesn't matter the color. It doesn't matter the race. It doesn't matter the religion. We are all created by God, and we're all precious, and we're all brothers and sisters. So you know what? I'm looking to come over to your house afterwards for some dinner. May not be grits and chicken liver, but okay, you get the picture. But I love people, and I love telling their stories. In this other book that they have available upstairs in circulation is Between the Pages. And I came across Between the Pages after I ran into a woman who people kept on saying, wow, her story is amazing. So I called her, I talked to her, and we got to be friends, and I began to write her story. And what I learned in Joyce's story is that unlike some people who go through hard things in life and they get stuck, she somehow got out. And through this book, Between the pages where trials become triumph, you get to learn a little bit about Joyce's life. Joyce started off like most people in a home, and she had loving parents, but she had a little trouble. And it started with feeling like she didn't fit in because of the color of her skin. And here's an excerpt from between the pages, the skin I'm in. Mother, why when we take a bath, we get clean and Joyce says dirty? My younger siblings yelled across the room as I exited the bathroom. Dirty? I knew I was the darkest of all the children in the family, but I never thought it was dirt. Maybe it was. I rushed back into the bathroom and peered at myself in the mirror. I grabbed the washcloth I had recently left hanging over the tub to dry, and I pressed it to my face. With all the strength I could find, I dragged the cloth up and back and down my skin. It hurt pressing so hard, but if it was dirt that made me so dark, I would get it off, even if it killed me. Well, after 10 minutes of scrubbing my face, nothing changed. Nothing changed. And so I looked in the cabinet under the sink, and there it was, cleansing powder. I sprinkled some on my hands, and I began to wipe it all over my face. I waited. 1 minute passed. 2 minutes passed. And after 3 minutes, my face became so sore, and I had to wash the cleansing powder off. Surely this was going to do the trick. I looked into the mirror to see if I looked any different. I didn't. My skin was still dark, and my skin was painfully sore. And tears just began to fill my eyes because it became clear it's not the dirt that's making me dark. But if my siblings thought I was dirty, what did others? The more I thought about it, the sadder I became. This must be why my kindergarten teacher made me stand at the end of the line and sit in the back of the classroom. She thought I was dirty. The kids thought I was dirty. They don't understand that I can't change the darkness of my skin. I had the washcloth and I had the cleansing powder to prove it. I tried my hand once. I tried raising my hand once in class, but you know, that teacher, she never looked my way. She just called on the children in the front. I was invisible, and there was no escape. There was no escape. And so that evening in the darkness, I heard the voices call me. I thought I was crazy. Black girl. You dirty girl. The voices were so loud that I didn't know if it was my imagination or if it was a dream or if there was a spirit in the room. Whatever it was, I wasn't going to sleep in the darkness anymore. And if Mother turned the light off, I waited for her to leave, and I turned it back on. And I turned it back on again. And eventually, it was my dad. He realized I was turning the light back on, and he suspected something was wrong. So he sat down at the side of my bed one night, and he said, "What's wrong, baby? What's wrong, Joyce?" "Nothing," I lied. "What are you afraid of?" He continued to inquire. At first, I didn't want to tell him about the voices that I heard, but eventually, I confided in him. "Don't listen to them, Joyce. You are my black princess." Daddy was my hero. I was so glad that I told him about the taunting, and from then on, he would remind me every night that I was his black princess. This encouraged me because Daddy was the most handsome man in the whole world. And just knowing that I was his black princess meant that the voices in my head no longer mattered. I didn't have to be afraid. So, you see, for Joyce, It was the darkness of her skin. But for some people that I meet, it's the shape of their hips. It's the color of their eyes. We all have these things in life that somehow seem to pull us down because somebody or another person said we weren't perfect, or this person went and left us and we felt like I must be so ugly or I must be so stupid. But that's not true. All of the things that you come across in life are just trials that you can overcome. And this story tells the true story of Joyce McDonald's, who after her childhood looked for love in all the wrong places and found a man to tell her that she was good, or tell her what he thought she wanted to hear. And it led her into a life of prostitution, to celebrities, to policemen, and all of that. But I have good news. In the end, she does overcome. But you have to read the story because it's a really powerful one. And I think it's something that everyone can learn from, no matter what their walk of life is. So there was Joyce. But I also have a heart for the children. I have a heart for all people. And it was when I stopped and I decided I would stay here in New Jersey that I began to work in Westfield in a school with children with extreme autism. And it was there that I really, really just fell in love with the simple things in life. I came across children that when their mom walked in the room knew that she was familiar, but had no clue really who she was. And I decided that I wanted to write some books to really, that they can get into, that they can smile about, and some books that represent them. And so I wrote this book, which they featured in Cranford. It's called One Awesome School. And it's the journey of a girl who has autism or special needs. And it's really simple. It's a book that shows how she was in one school and how people treated her. They made fun of her. Not just the children, but the teachers too. Yeah, there's some teachers out there that are just there for a paycheck. But most of us, teachers like myself, and I'm sure you can attest, really have a heart for the children. And so this girl's parents took her to a new school. And in that new school, that's where people began to celebrate her. The children were taught, to embrace these people, to embrace everyone. So when she went to the school and she would shout out and call out, they didn't make fun of her, but they celebrated her. The teachers celebrated her. And through that celebration, she was able to rise and make a difference. So that is the story of One Awesome School. So as you see, we all come from different parts of life. And yes, it's Black History Month. But guess what? It's all about story. Because we are all a part of the world. There's one world, and we're in it. And we're all like pieces of the puzzles. And what joins us together is love. So I encourage you all today, when you go outdoors and you go places, I challenge you to love on people that you meet. You know what? We see some people who are nasty, but they're hurting. These are hurting people. And when I go into the store and the cashier is looking at me all grumpy, I'm determined to make that person smile. And I refuse to let people's negativity change me, because I know that hurting people hurt, but loving people love. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. And now I open up to any questions that you may have, or anything you want to share with me. Next, anything. Yes, love?
Is One Awesome School in the library?
Not yet, but I'm sure Najia is going to get it in there for you. Yeah, so he wanted to know if One Awesome School is in the library. Not yet, but we're going to get that there. Yes?
If you have One Awesome School, are you going to read it to us?
If I have the book, what?
One Awesome School, are you going to read it to us?
I will read it to you. I don't have a copy with me now, But she wanted to know if I could read One Awesome School. I don't have a copy of that with me, but the library hopefully will get it soon. If you can't wait for that, I do have cards up here. All of the books are available on Amazon.com. You can get it, have your own copy, or you can wait until she gets it in there. And then you, my love, definitely take a bookmark and put it in your book of One Awesome School. And of course, adults, you're welcome to it as well. Any other questions before I start singing again?
What's your next subject? Are you working with another title now?
I don't know. It could be you, girl.
All right.
Yeah. I just love, as I meet wonderful people like yourselves, I love talking to people. I can talk forever because everyone has a story to tell. So I'm just going out loving on people and seeing what inspires me. Yes.
You mentioned that we should write about other people as well. So what do you recommend? Like, how should we do it? Like, if I have somebody in my family I want to write about.
Yeah, so he said, I recommended that you should write about stories yourself. And what I always tell my students and adults, I do run writing workshops, and perhaps I'll be able to do some here as well. I encourage everyone to keep a little writing book. It doesn't matter what type, and just jot things down. Jot down what you feel. You may not write a story down, the whole story down, but jot down things that really bring up emotions in you, and just leave it there. Eventually, you may come back to it. If you feel like writing a lot of things, go ahead and write it down. Who it was, who was there. But the most important things that you want to capture is the feeling, because that's what's going to drive this story on. I know, I see some questions in your head. Go ahead. Yes?
I'd like to know where you were born in the South and when you came to New Jersey, etc.
Okay, she asked me where I was born in the South, and when I came to New Jersey, actually, I wasn't born in the South. My mom was born in Sumter, South Carolina. I was born in the Bronx, New York, and I moved to New Jersey in 2009 after I finished my master's. In New York City, I had a TV show for about 5 years that was running on cable in the different boroughs. And then I started a non-for-profit organization called Mac Creation Pop Arts. And I had such a passion for the community that I started, once again, meeting people. I started writing plays. I wrote some some films that I would show that would encourage people no matter what they do in life. My whole life has really been conflict resolution. I love to help people to find the best person that they can be. Yes?
Would you then, in the future, go back to writing plays and maybe make one of your books or future books into a play?
Yes, she asked, will I go back to writing plays and books? Actually, I do have some screenplays already set up to go, and I'm in the process of working on some stage plays. And I'll probably, and I like to go back into the community, into the libraries, and then into some of the playhouses, because I want to be where the people are. Everyone can't afford to go to Broadway. Those prices are getting high. So for me, it's never been making money. It's been touching lives. To me, you can't put a price on people's life. I mean, like, you guys are like $1 billion right here, you know. So I'm extremely excited to have you. Yes?
When your Uncle Buster and Joyce McDonald read your respective books, what did they think?
They were super excited. Both of them were in tears. For Buster, he says, wow, I can't believe it, because it brought back a lot of memories. My uncle now he's a bishop in Philadelphia, and he is 80 this year. And so he's like, oh my gosh. And he's like, I feel like I'm reliving the story all over again. And he's read it several times. And he's just like laughing, like, oh my gosh. And you're seeing that pictures. And to me, that was really priceless. Especially he told me things my mother did. My mother's like the CIA. You can't get anything out of her. And for Joyce, reading her story, for her, it was actually painful, because she went through some really traumatizing things in her life. But now she's a visual artist, and her artwork actually goes all over the world. She goes out and does a lot of speaking engagement. When I go out the country to speak, I brought her 2 times with me to Dominican Republic. and her story has changed lives. There was one person there when we first went there that saw her. We didn't know that, but when we came back the second year, he came down and he just hugged her and he says, "Because of your story, I'm now free from drugs." Yes.
What made you decide to go to, when you decided to go away to help other people in different countries? You mentioned Ecuador and DR.
El Salvador.
El
yeah.
Salvador. What made you decide those particular countries, and like, how did you come about deciding to do that?
Sure. So how I came about where I went to, my mom was a missionary. So when I grew up, she was a missionary. And I always saw her giving. Our house was an open door. I mean, she had 8 children. And imagine all the friends we had. Everybody came into the house. And she always says you can put a little bit more water in the soup and have enough. So it wasn't like people today, like if you knock on someone's door for dinner, they will have a fit. You were always welcome at my mom's house. So, and growing up, the baby of 8, I always had a lot of love and around the family. And so when I grew up, I wanted to show love to people as well. And so what happened was my mom took me traveling a lot, but she traveled a lot within the States. When I came to New Jersey, I was a youth leader in one of the churches. And that's how they started going on mission trips. And I always had that passion. I'm like, wow, what a great opportunity. I started going with them. And from there, I would run into people who says, hey, can you lead a team to come and help me? But even before that, I used to take my daughters when they were younger into the shelters throughout New York and into the hospitals. And we would sing for people. Like right now, I'm teaching myself guitar because I don't want to wait for musicians and because I want to go into some of the veterans' homes and just any place that I can bring joy to people. That's my heart. Yes.
Which denomination were you a part of when you were a missionary?
The church that I went to was non-denominational. Yeah.
How wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just love goes across all races, all religion, and it's a wonderful thing. Even my daughters now that are graduating, you know, they have a heart. One is art. She's going into art therapy. She wants to use art as a way to help and touch lives. The other one is philosophy and women and gender studies major. And so they're all just, I try to create an environment of people helping people. Yes, Lord.
How did you do 2 jobs?
How did I do?
2 jobs.
2 jobs? Well, not just 2 jobs. I do about 20 jobs. Well, I don't watch a lot of TV. That's one of the things. I don't spend too much time on social media. I'm always, I may watch an hour every other day or something like that, but I'm usually sitting at my computer writing or on my notebook just writing and being around inspirational people. And with my daughters, we were always a part of the library. The library has so many books and your mind just expands and you can be any place in the world and you can visit places. And then they had all these events. So just don't get too caught up in the, oh my gosh, you guys are in this age where everyone stays on their phones. It's horrible. But I'm able to do a lot because I'm a no-nonsense person. I love people, but I don't do drama. So, and I don't run around in circles. So you need to plan. So I suggest that if there's something you want to do in life, write it on your mirror. Like I write on 2019, this is what I want to do. And every day I'm like, okay, what's in my plans? If it's something that's not lining up with this, X. Because it really takes your attention away. Yes.
And you mentioned earlier you're a teacher in Grand.
Yes, I
what
teach.
grade level?
I teach 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Fell in love with it. I never thought that I would want to do anything besides perform. But once I started working with children, you are always performing. And every year you get a new group. But it's one of the best, rewarding jobs to me that I can have as teaching. And I have the summers to travel all over the world. So. Any more? Yes?
Will you sing another song for us?
Sing a little song. a tisket, a tasket. I lost my yellow basket. A little girlie picked it up and put it in her pocket. She took it, my little yellow basket. And if that girlie don't return it, I think that I will die. Ba-da-da-da, ooh yeah, a tisket, a tasket. I lost my yellow basket. A little girlie picked it up and put it in her pocket. She took it, my little yellow basket. And if that girlie don't return it, I think that I will die. Thank you so much for coming out and being with me. Blessings on you all. Come and pick up some of this candy, eat this candy, and enjoy and show love to one another. I live right there in